Did you absolutely live for action-packed Saturday morning cartoons as a kid like I did? Do you also love turn-based RPGs? Well, you've come to the right video today. Greetings, indie warriors, and welcome to I Dream of Indie Games. My name is Silent Signs, and today we are taking a very special look at Dimensionals, a brand spanking new turn-based RPG that comes to us from Mino Games. But before we get into all of the details about our time with Dimensionals, a very special thank you to Mino Games for sponsoring this video. Full transparency as always, this is not a full review of the game, rather my honest thoughts based around a 3 to 4 hour gameplay session. Dimensionals is also starting out in early access, so it will be continually updated throughout the remainder of this year and into the next. If you do end up loving what you see today, we have a link right down there in our handy dandy description box where you can take control of Koa for yourself and battle against the evil specters. A huge thank you again to Mino Games for sponsoring this video. Alright then, everybody grab a bowl of Captain Crunch and put on your PJs because it's time to bite into some Dimensionals. In Dimensionals, you'll play as Koa, who starts out on a mission to retrieve a mysterious stone. After a harrowing encounter with some evil beings, Koa narrowly escapes with the stone, with a little help from his dimensional pals, of course, and is inaugurated as a Dimensional himself. The Dimensionals could be best described as a group of superheroes from different worlds that battle against a common evil, the Spectres. Led by the dreadful Ragnarath himself. Ragnarath wants nothing more than to conquer the universe with the help of his minions, leaving a fractured world in the wake of his destructive path. Gramps tries to take on Ragnarath in a one-to-one combat and seems to keep the evil at bay at least temporarily, but vanishes in the process. Now you must gather the scattered remaining Dimensionals to help save your Gramps and put an end to Ragnarath's tyranny once and for all. See, I told you this was just like a classic cartoon plot you knew and loved. From the opening menu leading into the game's beautiful animated intro, Dimensional storytelling and art design feel top-notch. This game very much looks like a comic book crossed with a 90s cartoon and is a true delight for fans of that art style. The personality of each hand-drawn character jumps off the screen, further brought to life through very nice animation work and the occasional voice-acted segments. In fact, the sound design is impressive in general, with some exciting yet unobtrusive music setting the tone for your battles, and some great sound effects to accompany your attacks. Dimensionals has a distinct and not-so-subtle sense of humor to the writing that harkens back to the goofy fun campiness of the era that it attempts to emulate, with a high level of success, mind you. Overall, I was extremely impressed with the charm of Dimensionals, both in its writing and presentation. So as I previously alluded to, Dimensionals is a turn-based RPG where you will be battling against different types of specters and bosses using an assortment of skills, both offensive and defensive. Each victory in battle will earn you new skills to choose from, which can also be enhanced as you progress. There's a lot of drag and drop gameplay involved that makes this title extremely easy to play, as a well-designed tutorial does an excellent job simplifying things and not overwhelming the player. There's no overworld map per se, though once you complete the tutorial and know your way around a Spectre battle, there are 2 modes of gameplay to choose from. The campaign, which is episodic and broken up into 15 to 30 minute sessions, which will advance the story and introduce you to new Dimensionals and enemies, also allowing you to hone your combat skills. The other gameplay mode is the Master Raid, which is an endless onslaught of enemy encounters in a more roguelike format, and that will definitely put put your strategy and skills to the test. This mode allows you to choose your party and fight on until you can't fight no mo. When it comes to actual battles, however, the concept remains the same across all modes of gameplay. Prior to combat commencing, you'll be able to visit the shop and purchase skills that suit or enhance your playstyle and strategy. From there, you can prepare for battle by assigning those skills. Duplicates of the same type of ability can be combined to enhance their power, and when you have all your party members equipped to the nines and ready to fight, you'll simply drag the desired skill onto its intended recipient. For offensive skills, you'll be dragging them over the enemy, and for defensive skills, you'll drag and drop them onto yourself or a comrade. There are some passive skills as well, which will automatically take their intended effect as long as they are equipped. After a victorious battle, you'll be able to choose from a new group of skills, equip them, and the cycle repeats itself. In addition to your skills, you also have a backpack to store items. These items include health potions, guard barriers, detox potions, and so much more. These potions are restocked at the beginning of each run, or they can be purchased from a potion shop. As you can probably tell by now, the combat system is quick, fun, and not overly frustrating or complex. One may even find the earlier levels a bit on the easy side, especially if they are used to RPGs with extremely deep systems and mechanics. That simply isn't what Dimensionals is all about, as it takes more of an accessible to everyone approach. Though I played with mouse and keyboard, I actually only really played with mouse, as I just didn't find myself needing to touch the keyboard at all, aside from when I chose to quit the game. If your concern is that there won't be a ton of content at first, fear not, as they are saying players can expect about 10 to 15 hours of gameplay at launch. There will also be 12 characters total to choose from of the planned 21, all of which play differently from one another. With each character having different skills, this means that you can expect different combos depending on who you pair together, really putting your strategy to the test. This approach also keeps the rather simplistic combat feeling fun and fresh at all times. As the game continues to progress through early access, more characters, chapters, bosses, and skills will be added. There's also a plan for a scaling difficulty to further challenge players if they are getting a little too good at the game. Usually, during these sponsored videos, I do like to provide a fair and balanced perspective of the game, even if we aren't doing a full review, and Dimensionals is no exception to that rule. The thing is, though, even for an early access game, this is really fun. I would like to see more content added in the future, which is clearly in the cards, and I do wish there was some kind of exploration element, like flying in the dimensional ship or exploring these very well thought out and detailed worlds in the game, but that doesn't seem to be what this title is all about, so fair enough. More importantly than all of that, Dimensionals is fun, doesn't require you to know a whole lot about this style of gameplay to enjoy it, and has some of the better character designs and creativity I've seen in a while. I've played some other titles that have attempted to capture the sort of zany superhero magic without nearly as much success, and those were full-blown releases, not even in early access. If you, dear viewer, are tickled by the concept of playing a superhero-themed comic book with a light-hearted, action-packed, humorous story, pick up a copy of Dimensionals for yourself and give it a go. The link is in the description box to grab this interdimensional adventure while it's still in early access, so you can help save the world as we know it. Thank you again to Mino Games for sponsoring this video, and if you'll excuse me, I'm off to squash some bobs and screamers.